Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meticulous Talks on November 6th. I'm, as always, Cursive Chords.
And I'm Hithroc.
We have been off we missed our last stream because of Ciderfest. Just happened to be on the same week that we would normally go, and we figured that most everyone who would be listening was at the con anyway, so probably a good time to stay off the air. But that means we have results to talk about now.
Yeah, we'll be talking about both core and harmony, right?
Yep. It's 15 total lists because the 8th place one from Harmony wasn't submitted, which is normally a lot of decks for one of our streams. But there's a number of them on there that we've already talked about to a pretty fair extent, so we'll be able to move through them pretty quickly. And then I guess for our next stream, we'll probably talk about the recent. I guess it's not a ban list update yet. It's just kind of recommendations, but yeah.
It might be a ban list update by the time we get to the stream, or maybe not. We'll see.
Could be, yeah. I suppose maybe we can spare a moment off the top just for the quick bullet point impressions on each card getting updated or changed, as it were. In general, I thought that I don't think I disagree with any of the changes, really. I was a little surprised that they were banning stuff in Harmony. I didn't think Harmony was actually in that bad of a place at the moment. What was it? It was Cadence and whose was staying in Harmony or not?
Well, yeah, I don't remember actually. Like, he's certainly gone in Adventure, right?
Yeah.
As well as my Twilight Sparkle.
Yeah.
Exhausting for AT. Very sad.
Yeah. I feel like I should have seen Paper Toy coming because I know there was talk about banning her before she rotated anyway. So
yeah, there was talk about banning her before, like, rotation was even a thing that people considered. And, like, remember 180 video?
Yes.
It was actually originally was made for Twilight's ban, but then in the end Twilight wasn't banned, so I had it unlisted for like forever until the core rotated. That's why the date on the video is actually way earlier than the core rotation.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think like by like 6 months or something like that. So that's a little trivia.
Right. And then of course there are the reworked versions of Heatwave, Legacy Leech, and Living to Laugh. Which I think I like Heatwave, pretty clearly, and just upping it to 2 mana. Sorry, two AT. It's still a mighty fine event at that cost.
Yeah. I wonder if people will still run it. But I mean, in Adventure, it was really oppressive with Bailout.
Yeah, that's...
And Bailout by itself, I don't think Bailout needed nerf, so Heatwave seems like a good choice.
Legacy Leech will still work for, well, it'll work for the things I want to do with it, which is good.
I forgot what changed. Like, I remember reading it, but I completely forgot what it is now.
It is. I mean, it's something like. Okay, shoot. I don't remember if it's banish any number of cards or banish some number of cards, but then it's like if you've done some number of events, then get the AT back. I think is how it works. Let me find it.
Okay, I'm completely blanking.
Oh, I guess Sim didn't actually make a document update, so
No, they didn't.
oh. Yeah, it was like the the thrust of the change was that it is like the AT gain is capped at 3, and it's only if you banished some number of events using this card's ability, like 3 or 5 or something, then you get the AT back.
Hmm.
And if it was some number of something else, then you get to draw 3 cards. So what we're learning is this is why we should wait until we do the research for the next stream. Here we go. Actual card
Banishing a
text.
number of cards. If 3 or more events are banished this way, gain 3 T.
If 6 or more
Okay.
events, draw 3 cards. Okay, right.
Yeah. Also, first tangent of the stream. We didn't even begin doing the review.
Right. Yeah. Maybe we should. Maybe we should get to the actual stuff. We'll talk about the changes in more depth next stream. So, do you want to start with Harmony or Core?
Let's start with Core, and then we'll get to Harmony was the main event, right?
I'm
Or
not sure really. They both had eight participants.
I kind of assumed that because the thread for Core actually specified Core in it, like in the title.
Right. Whereas the
But the
Harmony
Harmony
one,
was just results, so I assumed Harmony was the main thing.
sure. I mean that's reasonable. So Core you said to start with, right?
Hmm?
Alrighty. And we'll go bottom to top.
Sure.
So we start with a blue. It's blue orange. I guess it's blue orange purple because Ember's in there.
Also a better way to be bad. But yeah, it's mostly blue orange with some purple splashed.
Oh yes, you are correct. Right, and Rainbow Dash. Right, the new Rainbow Dash. Oh, one thing that I noticed, and you'll see
That this deck
these.
doesn't have problem cards.
Yeah, Joking Luna didn't upload the problem decks for any of the decks. I don't think. So yeah, we're going without the problem decks, basically.
Yeah. Wow, the game changed a lot since last I played.
Anyway, yeah, thank you, Hithroc, for. This is like the first time I'm looking at these decks because I didn't have time for this earlier in the week. But blue orange, right? We had a. Is there any actual dragon synergy in here? There's a number of. Well, I guess it's just Ember and Garble. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's dragon focused anyway. There aren't a lot of dragons here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this deck is by Wormhogs. I actually haven't seen them ever. Like, I've seen them on the Discord server
Right.
because they used to be a moderator, and that's how I know the name. So it's nice to see that some people are coming back to the game. And they've been actually quite active in the Discord recently, which is really nice.
The last few days for sure. Yeah.
Asking questions, playing games, that's cool.
Got a number of. Yeah, actually, 2 talented blue friends. To go with, I guess there are 3 blue events, and they're all relatively good ones to play, I suppose. We have Crown is an interesting card to have in the deck. You have to win the face-off. That's right.
Wait, hold on. This is Core?
This is Core.
What does that barrel through? That's not Core.
You're right. It's not.
I'm looking at this as like, is this all of the print and play cards? Because most of these are like Leaders and Legends, right?
Good point.
And then I see Barrel Through, and then I see Sky Stinger, which is still core. But Barrel Through is
Yeah, barrel through is definitely not okay. I could even just go look at the top little thing that T's put in. See that we are definitely not core legal.
well, I guess Bugle is not the only one to include extra barrels.
um, right. Yeah. I guess one of the interesting things about kind of just hit me about sideboards is that, like, technically speaking, if you submit a deck like this, if you if you just take out the barrel throughs, then you have a core legal deck.
Yeah, but I think for tournament floor rules, the entirety of the deck. I actually don't remember if they specify that the deck has only like it has to be legal only after your sideboard. I think it has to be legal all the way, but I'm
Right.
not sure. It depends on what tournament floor rules say.
Yeah. Well, I imagine, like, yeah, if it was like on submission, someone was looking over your deck sheet and like, wait a second, those cards are bad. You can just like cross them off, and then you got a 49 card deck for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, you just have
If
the
it
smaller sideboard.
if it comes up in a deck check or something, then yeah, that's a different story.
hmm It's much easier to fix now with sideboards anyway.
Hmm.
Like you just exclude the cards and that's it.
Anyway, uh, wait, how are we? Oh, right, it's Rainbow Generator that gets the purple, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe one of the problems. Who knows? And I guess
Patagium.
Potagium could do it as well. Well, though, if you're using Potagium to enter a third color, then he's not super good.
Still enough power, right?
No, he'd have one if you're putting him into a third color.
Oh, that's right, because he will be the third color.
Hmm.
Forgot about that.
Actually, Chrysalis can just be Ember. That honestly might be the better way to do it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think like we can think a lot about the cards that could be in blue orange that are really good.
Hmm.
Like a couple of cards from New Dawn are really good for blue orange. Spike comes to mind. There's also was it first Might Mullet? Yeah, I think it's first Might
Hmm.
Mullet, right?
Oh
Blue
yeah,
orange from Sequestria. But I think this deck was mostly restricted to the cards that Wormhags had access to, which is
right.
clearly mostly leaders and legends and some other cards. And I think for a deck that is like restrained within one set mostly, I think this is pretty good.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's hit towards blue orange's primary strength, which is usually having efficient large bodies. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got formation flying for the cheap movement, potentially more than that. If oh yeah, oh, right, yeah, it moves too. Um, and
Yeah,
understanding that you're sorry, go ahead.
Ember is a like good card, but the way to be bad is all right. It's not the best event we've ever seen, but it's all right for a blue orange.
Hmm.
Uh, I would maybe replace Garble with something else, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, Garble's like a clear kind of yeah, only good if you're expecting to run into Frightens or if you've got Frighten packed in your own deck. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, something else like Shovel or
well, Shovel is friends forever, so
oh, right, yeah, within the restrictions. Yeah, there'd be something. Still, yeah, as you said, for a restricted sort of card set, pretty good. Seventh place is Sokol with
Do you even have to say it?
With his deck, yes, with the Sokol deck. I believe this is actually an exact copy of one that he's used before. Which, like, this general deck of his has, what's a good way of saying it? It has both changed and not changed since it first became a thing back in Sequestria. Like, he's put it through a bunch of different variations of whether it be white. I don't know if he's ever actually worked with any other color than white.
No, we've seen this kind of deck used with purple, but not by Sokol.
Yeah, and then it's been mono. This is like it's gone slowly into the more farming idea, although, like, you know, this isn't even really quite all the way farming, but with the Daybreakers, the Shields, and a few epics. But otherwise, still good old Seleno, the Tempest. Yeah. The fact that it only has 45 cards in it is the giveaway. This is a older list that is just still around and doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be one of the ones that we say.
Yeah, I mean we've discussed this one before many times.
Right.
Because it just appears so often in
Yeah.
every tournament that Sokol plays.
Everywhere he is, yeah. So, moving on, we have Arakat in 6th.
Ooh. I don't see Arakat playing often.
Well, he's usually running the tournament.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not particularly often that he gets to play, but it's
Of course, it's Poppy.
Yeah. Well, mono pink is like his general style when he has the opportunity to run it. Yeah, Poppy. What is it? Oh, right. So Flurry Heart, Party Mare. The other ones? If there's any more random stuff going on here. But those are good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Party Mire is just randomness every turn.
Yeah.
Oh, for this one, we actually also have a problem deck.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe the other people just didn't fill out that part of the form, or I don't know.
Maybe we actually played without a problem deck. That'll be fun. Ha, you can't confront my problem. No double face-offs for the entire game.
Right. So, do you, I guess this would be a good question. Grandpas will probably know it if he's here. Do you start Buckball or Party Science? You probably start Buckball, I think. There's so much stuff at 2 rec that you want to have access to.
Yeah, I think Party Science is just one of the good problems here. Like,
Mm,
it's there because it's good, not because it's a starting problem.
yeah. Although you do have enough entry to start Party Science if you want to, I think. It's, well, 8 cards, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe that's not enough. Well,
Yeah, and also given that the main kind of wants you to empty your hand, I think starting with Party Science is a little risky.
mhm.
Like, if you can't play anything in your hand, that's pretty sad. But at the same time, like what we have 8 cards that you can play right away without Bugball.
Right.
You'll generally have one in your hand, and having just one is enough to play the rest.
Yeah. Technically 11 if you count the Pinky Senses. So they don't fix your rec, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah. And otherwise, this isn't actually. I saw the honorary acts for a second and looked for Living to Laugh, but actually he's running both that and Gabby. But yeah, this is just
One step away from the combo deck.
drawing for the sake of value, hoping for once that your draw deck doesn't run out.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of cheap friends here, and you usually play a lot of friends in this deck, so
Mhm.
you kind of do want to refill your hand, especially after flipping Pinkie Pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And like, since you're playing Flurry Heart, you're not moving your stuff, generally speaking.
No. Yeah.
So all your plays after face-offs are going to be from hand.
Interesting to see both discords and bait and switches.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of. Well, problem replacement is generally considered to be an anti-farm tool.
Yeah, like I mean, you can kind of use discords as a anti-aggro tool as well, right? Because it's immediate replacement.
Hmm.
But do you really need like both of them? Oh, I guess you do need the both of them because bait and switches are Pinkie Pies,
Oh, that's a
which
good
can be
point.
transformed.
Right, we do have the 3 transform pinkies.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's a lot of targets get transformed. Well, one, two, three. Yeah, lots of them, certainly.
Maybe too many Pinkie Pies.
I think Arakat would probably disagree with you on the framing of that question. Anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, next up in 5th place was Joking Luna himself with Ocellus Yellow.
Oh, Acella's yellow is not something you see too often. Like
Is
I've
this?
seen people experiment with changelings a long time ago, but it's
Mhm.
kind of fallen out of favor.
Well, yeah. Right about when Friends Forever first came out, it was a relatively popular idea. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the cards do kind of all naturally synergize with each other.
Yeah, I mean, as any tribe, all of the tribes people were trying out back
Mhm.
when FF just came out.
Yeah. Out of all of them,
Interestingly, none of them survived other than Pegasi, really.
well, Griffins are kind of having their day now, I guess, in the in the
Yeah,
in the Living to Laugh decks. But other than that, no. Yeah, just Pegasi ever became properly competitive. Oh yeah, and this one has a problem deck. So maybe it might have been just people not writing it down in their sheets.
yeah, I mean, it's easy to forget. It's kind of on the side of the sheet, just
Hmm.
it looks there.
Right. Yeah. So Joking Luna is a fan of changelings as a concept. I think like he's done stuff like this before. I think the Crackle Cosette is new compared to stuff that he's put into like Cocos and stuff. I want to say the rest is relatively familiar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a changeling deck. There's only so many changelings.
Hmm. And this is pretty much all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, or at least all of them in these colors.
I think in the changeling deck, the most variation you'll really see is not in friends; it's in events.
Hmm.
And I mean, because most of the events will actually not synergize with changelings, they'll just be good on their own. Except, I guess, Defend the Hive is in the case here. But people even run Defend the Hive outside of changeling decks.
Right.
So,
And frankly, uh, Ocellus costs 3 to double, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how much spare AT you would have to take advantage of the Harmony text on Defend the Hive most of the time.
I would, well, without doubling, SLS has 5 power, right?
Right.
if you have the bonus.
Yeah.
So moving 5 power with the Agile, it's sometimes you might want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you do usually have the bonus because that's Changeling's whole thing, boosting each other, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I still think Timble's a trap, frankly. But if people can make him work, then good. Good for
Why do you
them.
think so?
I think it's super enticing, but you just
Mhm.
have to do a little bit too much work to make it good. To make it work, I think.
Mm, I mean, this deck will always have changelings to the side of Timble because
Mm,
it's two more changeling. Like you'll like this entire. It's impossible for this deck to
right,
have a friend that's not. Well, I guess it can have creators, sure, but
right.
other than that, you can't really have.
If you are confronting a problem, you're guaranteed to have two other changelings there, basically.
Yeah, likely
Uh,
because Timble on its own will not confront anything.
right.
So you kind of need a little help.
Timble plus your boosted Ocellas. That would be one way to do it with only two.
Yeah, but you probably won't like you'll still move one extra friend for one
Hmm.
extra point.
Admittedly, I was missing the white thorax from New Dawn, which actually does help as being a one cost um one cost entry card changeling that goes to 3, and you have the Unity, which you will. Actually helps this deck out a lot, I think.
Yeah, and a Celos specifically too.
Right.
Like such an easy way to boost her.
Super easy, yeah. Like that's the spot that might have been occupied by like a Slarite or something before. And it's a much better card, honestly.
Hmm. Now that you've mentioned that Timble is a trap, do you think Bunny would be better for this deck?
Okay, that's the right question to ask. Would Bunyip? Well, I mean, no, because this deck has a white main. Um, like, Bunyip is a yellow. Being 4 rec,
Yeah,
it's a yellow prime card, generally speaking.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I guess
But
there aren't that many yellow friends in this deck.
mhm. But that is the right question to ask. To think, you know, if I think Timble is like not what you should be shooting for, then what is the card that should go there instead? That gives you point acceleration some other manner. I'm willing to believe that maybe I've just always played Timble wrong. That's possible too. I am too focused on chasing the big value with Herd of Adoring Fans and stuff. Uh, when I should just be
Yeah, I
taking the
think in
points
this
wherever I
deck,
can get them.
you use Timble more like Bunny and less like combo thing.
Hmm.
At least I think.
Right. Because Herd can hit, well, it costs 2 or less. Almost everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Prism Light actually thinks, yeah, there's the white uh, point acceleration that is core legal. Wait, Throne is from Defenders, right? Yeah, so it is core
Yeah,
legal.
yeah. Yeah, Throne is an interesting option.
Hmm. AT intensive. Um, and
It
what do
is,
we?
but it helps you with face-ups a little bit.
True. Let's see. +1 to play cards during face-offs for the opponent. Which how many decks are there around these days that do play cards during face-offs in core?
Chaos has no effect, I think, as well, right?
Yeah. Also chaos has
That's
no
on its
effect.
own.
which is that's more relevant in adventure for
Is it?
now.
I mean, people run Mysterious Disappearance with Pinky Sense.
That's actually true. That is actually true.
Like, that makes the specific utility of Throne makes it more a sideboard card,
Hmm.
but I think that's a valid option for this deck.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for those pink decks that rely on Picky Sense and Mysterious Disappearance, in some cases as their only resource removal, yeah, Throne by default just
Yeah,
isn't.
that just never happens
Yeah,
anymore.
for sure. Yeah, honestly, it might have a place, more of a place in the meta these days as a sideboard card, as you say, but
Mm-hmm.
could be. Okay. Next up, if you're ready to go,
Mm-hmm.
in fourth place, Anemoy with a Student 6 deck, but not that Student 6 deck.
Ooh.
Right.
So many
So,
colors.
I mean, kind of. I'm mostly seeing yellow.
I mean, it's mostly yellow, but you also see like. So I see mostly yellow, and then my eyes move, and I see orange, and then okay, this is a yellow orange deck, and then I go to the next card, and there's white,
Hmm. What does that card
and I
even
guess that's it.
confront this card's problem? Put a critter friend would cost 2 or less from your discard pile into play.
Yeah, that card is pretty good.
It's got to be a critter friend. So that is,
Bunyip, that's Bunyip.
I
I'm
mean,
telling
yeah,
you right now.
it's Bunyip basically. Yeah.
But Guard Geese are actually really good for that too, because they retire themselves for something, and you can bring them back.
Hmm.
What is that troublemaker anyway?
It's the Unity helper. No, it's the
Ah,
Wreck and Unity helper. Yes.
mhm.
Which, frankly, as 0 points, and given that you've got a way to, well, wait, you've got a way to reflip it with Geese, I guess. It's not that great.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe there's some synergy here, but given that this is the only troublemaker, maybe not.
Hmm.
But there could be, like, you could include some troublemaker, which you keep flipping for what it like. There are some troublemakers that you want to keep flipping.
I mean, honestly, as a generally speaking, changeling distraction is going to serve the same purpose as a motivational speech that is a troublemaker instead of a um, uh, resource, basically,
Yeah,
most of the time. And that is a
yeah,
legitimate question to be had about which is actually better. Um, like you're getting it on a time delay if you play it as a troublemaker.
yeah. But you also block your opponent,
Yeah, exactly.
and it can be removed with a resource removal. Like troublemaker removal is a very specific thing which you will not see very often,
Yeah,
if at
most
all.
most colors don't have troublemaker removal per se because they have dilemmas uh, or just big stuff to beat them up. The normal
Yeah.
way, it's assumed that's how you're going to deal with them.
Also, this deck also includes speeches, so you can't really replace the troublemaker with speeches
Hmm.
when
Fair
you
enough.
already have the speeches.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But you can replace it with FOFs, I suppose. But then again, you need free rec for your
Yeah.
splash color.
Yeah. When you need another way to get to 3, like I should honestly consider that troublemaker more often because sometimes like for a deck where 3 is the super magic number of your off color Rex, well, yeah, fire is a subpar option.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one is, yeah, probably should be looking at that more often if I. Otherwise, we've got, with the exception of Fluttershy and Sea Poppy, we're all under the treading water threshold. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, Student 6 is a bit of a strange main for this deck because everything's so cheap.
Well, I mean, you're still saving the same amount of FAT per counter on Student 6. So
Right,
I don't think the cost really matters. I think it's the Rex that Student 6 makes really easy.
right. Well, yeah,
But
that's usually it's more about getting around Rex that you wouldn't want to be able to generate yourself.
yeah, and like everything being so cheap means that you can get a free friend every turn or two.
Hmm. And when you've got cheap friends that are as impactful as treading water, or what's another one? A friend that's outside of your core colors that's you would want to get into with Student 6.
I mean, C-pop is pretty good.
I suppose so, yeah.
Like I would honestly, okay, I'm biased. I'm very greedy with my entry.
Hmm.
By very greedy, I mean I have like not a splashed three color deck, but a full blown three color deck running on like 3 to 4 entry cards. That's how greedy I am.
Uh-huh.
I think this deck can really cut all of the entry it has, to be honest. You just play the cards with Student 6.
So that
That's my take on it.
I mean,
You just don't run entry at all. You don't need it. Just play Student 6.
well then how are you like if you cut all the entry, then
Mhm.
you're only gonna ever have. I guess you make your main start off as
Yellow.
yellow. Like then you're running into a situation where you might have to pay a lot to flip Student 6 over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's really a problem. What you like, your opponent is probably running more than one color, so what you pay free for it? I don't think that's a strategy, and
I mean, in the worst case scenario, your opponent's also running mono yellow.
changing distraction doesn't help you with the rec anyway. Uh, for Student 6 discount at least.
Hmm.
So I don't think that's that big of a problem. But if you're concerned, add Sclerite. That's the only entry I will allow.
With Sclerite, yeah, that
Like free Sclerite, that's all the entry that this deck needs in my opinion. Like I even think it's an overkill. I think the discount point is not that big of a deal. But if you think it's a big of a deal, I think Sclerite is a perfect fit because it lets you play both of your orange friends right away. And white, well, just play white with Student 6. Just
hmm
get 3 counters.
hmm yeah, yeah, it's a legitimate point, honestly. Kind of an interesting way of building the deck, but could be
Yeah,
right.
that's the main thing about Student 6, right? And it lets you get away from entry, not from cost, but from entry. And you could use it this way by freeing up 8 slots in this deck.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid advice, honestly.
But again, I'm the greedy one with the entry here. I'm not.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, you even cutting that
Okay.
down by half, even just like getting rid of the speeches or um whatever.
So your mileage may vary.
You can take a half measure on Hithroc's advice and see if it suits your style. Alrighty. In third place was Ivory Starlight. And he is playing. This is just the normal Gabby combo, right? Yes, I think so.
Is it? Yeah, it is. Did we talk about it before? I think we talked about it on
We probably brought it up.
Invitational.
Yeah, talking about the invitational deck list. Of which I think like the sort of one that hasn't been changed up for the Invitationals. Probably, I don't know if this is any different actually. Now that I look at it, is Giovanna in the Invitational ones?
Uh, I uh, I don't remember. I think so.
Yeah, that's the only
I think
card that.
it's not in the other Gabby list because both of them use Gabby, but
Right,
I think in this Gabby list it was part of the list.
right. But yeah, if you've watched any of the Invitational matches, you've probably seen this one happening. Although I think actually we've only had it on once. Might have been in Cheese's game. Now that I think about it. Oh no, it was Grandpa's playing it. Anyway, yeah. Uh, other than sort of the Stewart Brothers style with Clujetown and Having a Blast, this version kind of sets up a relatively sturdy early game and mid game, and then at some point Gabby hits the field. The blue purple Gabby, that blue pink Gabby, that is. Um, and at that point, you're the opponent's kind of just on a clock because you're going to be discarding and drawing lots of cards,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you get a second one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we just move on quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We have seen this one before, so
yeah. Second place, Mr. Brandon Pagano with Thorax of some description. Thorax Blue. I haven't seen Thorax Blue for a long time, actually. When I think about it.
it's yeah, I haven't seen Thorax Blue in a while would be an understatement. I don't think I've ever seen Thorax Blue in like a tournament.
Right. When I used to live in Calgary, I used to uh, well, the only other member of the local group, uh, he's he was a big fan of Thorax Blue, and that was like we met up once a week, and it was just me bringing various decks to play against Thorax Blue.
Ah, that's
So,
how I have it had it in my local group where we have one guy playing Hot Wings all the time. This is the only deck that he plays, and I usually build something weird.
mhm. But the style works. You're combining um, all the great blue Pegasus stuff, which most of those cards are generally 2 or less power. Not all of them, but enough of them so that
Mm-hmm.
Thorax still gets value. Um, are you often like I'm looking at Rutherford there, and I'm thinking, is Thorax going to be blue? I guess you have speech, yeah.
You have speech, you have Rush Makeover. But I guess Rush Makeover is main phase, and Rutherford you. Oh wait, that's the other Rutherford.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah. Main phase
That's the
would
unit
work
one.
for this one when you move a character to a problem,
Yeah,
this card to a problem, yada yada. Yeah, because 10 blue is well, yeah, with
I mean Rutherford itself is free, so that's actually 7 blue. 7 blue is what Mullet plus Sea Pony.
right.
Plus you have Cloud Chasers and Fleeters.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe you can get to 10 without Thorax's help somewhat reliably.
Hmm.
Sorry. This does have the sort of often usual thing that you get in blue yellow decks, or at least it seems like it happens relatively often, where you might look at it and say, not all of our characters are uh, less than 2 printed power. Sanctuary Scuffle is weird, but like almost all of the cards with more than 2 printed power are cards you want to get back in your hand with Sanctuary
Yeah,
Scuffle. Um,
and they also have Trading Water. Like, this deck has a bunch of low power friends, but it's not running orange. Gonna still run Trading Water.
yeah, absolutely. It might be something worth looking at it at some point in the future. Cards that like were most frequently, I guess the word would be like snatched out of their color, like
Splashed into.
yeah, like we're not running orange. We're just gonna nab this one card because it's super effective.
And the
And
next level of that is Pinky Sense, where, I want to run this other colors, but I'm going to run pink because of Pinky Sense.
for many styles, yes. Alrighty. Well, I guess the top card from this tournament is just Reanimator. So we're not gonna. I mean, I'll put it on screen briefly, but we've all seen enough of it, I dare say. So moment for any last comments about this one before we're done with the core tournament.
Did this change at all? I don't think it changed, right? All the same cards as at least
Oh,
what they run in Invitational, right?
Reanimator?
Yeah. Oh, you wanted to last comment about this
Yeah,
one? Not
yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see Thorax Blue. We haven't seen Thorax Blue.
Hmm.
Well, I haven't seen Thorax Blue in like competitive environment at
Right.
all.
I mean,
And it
yeah,
took second place, so really good.
same as me. Yeah. Um, yellow, blue, still some of the best colors, even with Chalaska on.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this deck, well, has a number of non-Pegasus friends, so it might not. Well, it
Yeah,
probably
it's not
would.
a Pegasite deck for sure. Like I wouldn't call it a Pegasite deck.
Hmm. So yeah, I'll just switch it over. Hey, it's Reanimator. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same. Uh, it's the same cards that you've seen many times. Let's move on to Harmony.
Yep. Does Changeling Throne and Sonambula Blindfold kill Reanimator?
Um.
Like, is there anything that the Reanimator can do about that? I guess it can play Friends for Student 6 still.
Oh. Um. Yes. Yeah. It can still do Student 6. Uh. Yeah. Blindfold's your. Well, you can play Blindfold. Like, just play it.
Yeah, but then they can remove Blindfold, but the Changeling Throne kind of seals it completely because there's no other way they can uh, get rid of the Blindfold.
Hmm.
And their parachutes don't work. I think the real counter to Reanimator is just to play Chrysalis White Pink with Throne and Blindfold sideboard.
Hmm. Crystal.
There we go. That's my take on the meta.
I mean, New Dawn Chrysalis is. It's not awful against Reanimator, generally speaking. You can
Yeah.
you can flip her before Reanimator has its turn on turn 3. Um, which can they still do it? Not on 6AT, because the normal path is infiltrating into Rush Makeover into Orchard Blossom, which is
Yeah.
just enough AT. So yeah, you would like if it was well anyway, and that's not
I mean,
three.
yeah, you kind of need to get those two cards out early,
Yeah,
but you can just run like I know all three of them against this particular deck and sideboard them out against other decks.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, and as I said, Chrysalis she's a fine main. She can work in general against the rest of the meta, I think,
Mm-hmm.
with the right supporting cast. Anyway, Harmony. We only have 7 decks because there was no submission for the 8th place finisher.
Truly mystic.
So in 7th, Chandler Schuler with Octavia Yellow. Don't know if this.
Wow, this deck looks old.
Yeah, this is not even fitting on the not fitting all on the screen. So
Like I think
those
this deck was built when Equestrian Odysseus came out, and that's how it stayed.
could be definitely has the hallmarks of kind of a grab bag of what you've got in your collection.
Yeah,
What with this the singleton copy of RTO, and well, just various singletons and twofers all over the place.
yeah. Like a lot of these cards I haven't seen in a while, but I know Forest Owl like was
Hmm.
really good card back in the day.
Yeah.
Uh, RTO is obviously a good card.
Hmm.
Do I see anything else familiar? Like the cards that used to be really good. I know a lot of these cards come like they are in the starter deck from Equestrian Odysseus. Not the Octavia one, but the other one with the.
Oh, it's a good catch. Yeah, well, it would be the
It was yellow orange, I think, with the Muffin Mare.
right. Okay.
Like that Animal Allies, that definitely comes from that deck.
Hmm.
It's a fixed card. I don't remember if Harry is there, the bear.
Hmm.
So it seems like an enhanced version of that with the. Well, I guess not because it's like completely different color, but and Octavia. But
Right.
some cards are definitely from there.
Right. I mean, you still take the basic idea. Um, Octavia works well with well yellow, as we know. Lots of cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is probably a bit of a mashing together of a couple different ideas.
Yeah,
But I mean, got seventh. Let me look. Must have beaten somebody, right?
probably the Mystic Knight with that is Mystic, and we don't know with their deck list.
Yeah. Actually, wait. No. Looking at the Challenge actually has him in eighth. Mystic at seventh. Oh, anyway.
Let me check. Yeah, Mystic Knight won one game, so I guess they shouldn't be in eighth place.
Anyway.
Oh well.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
I had not set this up. One quick second. Radio. I don't know why the Harmony lists get formatted weird. It's my Chrome browser. Yeah, there's just kind of like an offset.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I remember there was a reason for that, but I forgot what it is.
Right. And so these cards are like again on stream you're missing uh just one card. There's a staff that you're not seeing on the end.
Makes sense for this deck to include staff.
Hmm. This is well blue orange actually. Similar idea, quite similar idea to what we saw in Core, kind of.
Yeah, but it has a lot of really good blue orange cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonderbolt Stadium is an amazing card to run. Uh, this obviously runs Trading Traditions because it's Harmony, so you can play Wonderbolt Stadium turn one, which is
Yep.
really good.
Still an
You
excellent
have
start.
Yeah, you have Rockhoof, which is also really good. You can play Wonderbolt Stadium into Rockhoof. It's even better. You have a bunch of good Applejack cards like Carboloader there. I remember
Mm.
when you could see Carboloader everywhere. I think it was mostly in farm decks though.
Yeah, that was her main claim to fame. Uh,
Yeah,
but also perfectly good in a deck. This actually probably has a really high flip average. Well, 3.5. Better than most aggro decks.
Yeah.
It has so many cards with 4 printed power.
You have good old Night Glider. Remember that card?
Wouldn't be Harmony
Used to
without.
be in every blue deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, we still see her a lot in Adventure in all
Mm-hmm.
the blue lists.
Now Rainbow Dash back in black is kind of interesting. Like it's a pretty weak card, especially compared to Night Glider.
Mm-hmm.
But it can help you get those like one extra point. Like, oh, I've just missed their 2 Night Gliders and I have the last one. They have no way of winning this game. Bam, back in black.
Right. I mean, 2 AT for a point is
Yeah, it's a
it's not bad.
not the most efficient way to get points, but
Right.
it's relatively up there. Like Throne is also 2 AT for 1 point.
Yep.
But I think the main problem with Rainbow Dash is just like a lot of restrictions. You have to retire her. You have to win by 5 or more power.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a card that comes from a pre-built deck, the theme deck, so can't be too strong for that. Imagine if they included Night Glider in the in the theme deck. Although I say that, and we have paper twice, so
that's actually true. That's actually true. Is Paper Twine the best fixed card we've ever had?
no, Trixie is the best fixed card we've ever had.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. No, I'm not thinking of any better one.
Well, there's also Scudulumain, which is really good.
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah.
Octavia is a really good fixed card as well as Muffin Mare. Well,
okay, yeah. So,
but those are mains, I suppose.
yeah.
So.
Discounting mains.
Discounting mains. Yeah, I think Paper Twine might be the best one. Because only question, like I think in Premier there were like no. Were there any fixed cards? I don't think there were any fixed cards in Premier Block.
There were. Yeah, there were starter deck fixed cards.
Oh yeah, I think they were, but I don't think any of them were good.
No, not that I remember.
Something good other than the mains.
I guess I am on Ponyhead right now. I can look.
I know in the Pink Rock and Waves deck there was a card that increased its power with your hand size. That's the fixed card there, I think.
Okay,
but
fixed.
It wasn't competitive. I don't think so.
Holy Dash was fixed. She was okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Premier.
right. Holy Dash is fixed. That's why. And they included only 2 of them in the deck. That was rude. That was just rude.
Mm-hmm.
How could I forget about Holy Dash?
I don't know why I'm even looking in Crystal Games. Nothing in that set was any good. I mean, yeah, there were some middling cards, I guess. If you want to say Rock and Rave definitely had a few. Even just
Breakdown. Breakdown is an amazing card that came in the starter, in the pink white Octavia starter.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Not as good as Paper Twine, maybe, but it's a really good card to have.
Yes.
But I think that's it. Like I think Paper Twine and Breakdown are like my top 2 picks from fixed set. Fixed rarity.
Mm-hmm. Shall we move on?
Yeah, we're done with this tangent.
Yeah, I'm starting to get similar to how when I edit invitational games, I'm starting to develop kind of a sense of it's paused for a little while. I can probably cut this. I'm starting to get a sense of we've been off on this for a while. We should get back to the subject at hand. Right. Yes. So that brings us to 5th place with Joking Luna's Fluttershy deck. Now he has used Beastmaster a few times as well in the past, I think.
Oh, that's a main I haven't seen in a long time.
Yes, yeah.
I have seen it in Popper decks. I think it's really good in Popper.
Yeah, and she's still half decent. Relatively easy to flip over, especially because cheap critters, there's a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty relevant abilities.
Yeah, I mean the entire deck is critters other than Fluttershy.
Hmm?
Fluttershies.
And Tree Hugger, I guess.
Oh yeah, I missed her.
But yeah, otherwise pretty standard critter synergy. Yellow having all the global +1 buffs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's Animal. You mentioned fast food and Professor Fluttershy. Fast food, Conductor's Baton, Professor Fluttershy, the Marks in Time Fluttershy. I guess that's only your critters here, but still. Betcha. See if I can find the problem. There it is. Bring out your best. Yes. I mean, that is a lot of potential. Everything you've got as +1s.
Yeah, like I think 4-power critters are not a stretch. 4-power critter tokens are not a stretch.
Yeah.
Other critters will have even more power.
Put those rock tokens to shame.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have critter bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Harry is a critter, technically. Yeah, but Harry in this main, you actually this main doesn't have a global buff, right? It's Caretaker, which works
Right.
the other way around.
Yeah.
But with all of the critter buffs, you can get Harry pretty high.
Yeah.
And 9 power is a lot even for orange. And I think Harry also has Calming free.
Mm-hmm. I think Prism Light's referring specifically to the face-off trigger as well. Being able to. How does she work
Oh, yeah.
again? Right. Yes.
She moves a friend when you start
Yeah.
the face off.
Move in 5, and then you'd be at 9 total,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty good. This is like, yeah, just critter synergy the deck, basically.
Mm-hmm. I challenge you to think of a card that would synergize with critters and is not in this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, we have one more novel deck, and then the top 3 are all things we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh yeah, I remember looking at this. This upcoming one, this rarity deck is really cool. I think this was my highlight of the weekend. Here it is. Because like we've seen this main before. This is Bugle's main. We're used to thinking of it that way. At least I am. But this is. I don't know if I'd maybe call this white control or it's. I mean, it's mid range, but it's a really slow mid range with this much
I would call
removal.
it control. I would call it control.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have troublemakers in it, but not every control deck has troublemakers in it.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, look at it. You have so much removal. You have cold waves. You have play stripes. You have Octavia. Like it's you can't call this deck not a control.
I have to agree. Yeah. Although no blackmail.
I guess that's true.
An
I guess
eminently
this deck.
confrontable problem deck.
Okay, so but you would include blackmail in this deck, right?
Oh, yeah. I
See, it's a
was
control deck.
wholly expecting to see it when I scrolled up to look at the problems. Um, yeah, yeah.
Definitely a control deck.
We so like there is kind of a critical mass of removal where if if you can keep the opponent sort of playing honest and not doing a bunch of stuff all at once, because that is White's kind of main weakness, is that its removal is potent, but it's generally speaking main phase only.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then yeah, you can absolutely keep your opponent down even without troublemakers.
Yeah. I mean, Cold Wave is really good. It's
Hmm.
been a good card before as well, especially in Marks and Time era. I think we've seen a lot of Cold Waves. Reliving History is a really good control-ish card.
Hmm.
I guess to be like a heavy control deck, this needs point acceleration, because I think this deck like mostly uses confronts, as you said, to score points.
Yeah,
That's why I have Coloratura and like Sweetie Belle and things like that.
Mistmain
But
would be a great card to have here.
yeah, I was actually thinking of Photo Finish, but Mist Main is also an option.
You see all those Odysseys block cards, and you're thinking photo finish.
Yeah, that's what takes you back, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Everyone was running Photo Finish. Throne might be also an interesting card here.
Right, the card of the stream. Uh,
Yeah,
or you, yeah, honestly, Throne would probably be a fair addition. Um, yeah, yeah. White, like White is infamous for being the perpetual secondary color, and is so rarely run as primary. But
yeah.
you can do cool stuff with it if you are willing to fully embrace it.
One cool thing about this main is that you don't have to flip it early. I mean, in this deck, it'll be kind of hard to take off without flipping it. But if you keep it so, like if you keep this main and flip for the entire game, which is very possible, your opponent might forget about it, and you might get 2 points out of nowhere for the win.
That's tough. Well, okay.
That happened. That happened to me once. I
Oh,
felt very
really?
stupid.
Okay.
I had like the next turn was my winning turn. I was like, yeah, you have no way to win here. There's only 3 points on the board, and you need 5. I think they needed 4 actually, and they told me, I think you're forgetting something, and I was like, do I? And then they win the game by flipping their mate.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I guess if they played that long without flipping it, it's fair to forget. Um, but yeah, it is for many extensive purposes saying that you're playing to 13 rather than 15.
Yes.
But yeah, super cool deck.
It's fun to see mono white. Usually white is splashed with something.
Yeah, and you might like consider maybe starting surprise concert, that being the white supporter problem. But you kind of need to have troublemakers in your deck to make that work usually, because you do need to be able to play stuff with one rec on your main.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it probably wouldn't work here without significant changes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I believe both second and third, both Ivory and Grandpa's are playing the same deck with almost no changes. Uh, that being the Trixie combo.
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
And
I
we
always
have
approve of Trixie.
yes, Excuse me. Yeah, well, Trixie Combo didn't used to have Living to Laugh in it. That's a change. But it makes a lot of sense. It always was a deck that could draw a pile of cards.
Yeah, and you get 15 unity with Song and Dance.
Mm-hmm. For those unaware, let me see. Well, I'm sure you know Trixie's text off the top of your hand. Right. Needed the opponent to start a face-off. You pay one less for events till the end of the face-off. You are using Lord Tyrek for that, because even though you are forcing them to start the face-off, they are still starting it.
Yeah.
Which
It's
gets
pretty
you.
hard to force your opponent to start face-offs without Tyrek. It's possible, but hard.
Yeah. And you have. How are you forcing them to have like a friend there to? I mean, I guess you're just playing them to a problem that they've already got stuff at.
Isn't there like a move here somewhere? There we go. Twilight's Epiphany.
Yes, yeah, that'll work. Okay. Right. Unless they've got immediate speed movement themselves, I guess. But
Yeah.
even then, it's a pretty feels bad play to use your immediate speed movement to move a guy home. Well, one of your guys.
Yeah.
Though
And it's unlikely, like, only one color has immediate move speed, immediate immediate speed moves. It's blue.
Mhm.
Most of them don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
And against blue, I guess you like can just play. How do you stop immediate move speed here? Because you can't play Rainbow into the vote because they can just move before you. Like as soon as you play Rainbow, you can just move.
Let's see. So Trixie's gonna have 3 power. This is an interesting little puzzle here. You could. Is
I
there a
don't think
way to
there's a
get to
way
4 wreck outside of a face-off?
outside of a face-off. Well, join the
Yes.
herd.
Yeah. Okay. So you join the herd into blue, and then you can Sonic Rain Boom into Under the Wire to put a zeroed out into play in your ready phase. And
In their
then,
ready phase, right?
well, like in the basically right before T-Rex trigger would go off.
Yeah, so it's going to happen on their turn, right? Not on yours, because
Actually, yeah,
they challenge the troublemaker, not you.
right, yeah, and actually, you don't need to play Rain Boom because Under the Wire is already immediate speed. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. But then as soon as you do that, they move away. So you still need to play the vote first, I think.
Right. Yes. There's always going to be a priority window. Right. But
Well, no. You play Rainbow, you play the vote, and then you play Epiphany moving their friend to your troublemaker. You don't
yes.
really need Under the Wire.
Well, yes. Okay, you're right. Yeah, that works.
I mean, Under the Wire also works. So it's like it's actually two things here. But if all of their friends at home or something like that, you can just play Epiphany after playing the vote. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. And the reason why I'm okay with this tangent is because the top deck is one that we've already talked about.
Yeah. Also, we're talking about the deck this time, so
Yeah, absolutely.
it's but yeah,
Oh,
I like this deck. It has Trixie.
actually, yeah. NY brings up a great point. You take Epiphany's second thing saying opponents can't move their characters this turn, and then
Yeah.
you
Oh, you don't even have to play the vote.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot that it has that. I usually like every time I played that card, it was draw cards and move things.
Yeah, that is like certainly because you're usually playing it in main phase timing. That's
Yeah,
the one that's much more useful.
yeah. It's kind of hard to imagine a situation where you would want your opponent like that third ability there is super specific. It's your opponent can't move their characters, so it's not even helpful. Like if you want to prevent them to move your characters,
Hmm.
it's only their characters. Like there's not a lot of not a lot of ways for the opponent to move their character on their turn, and most of the time opponent doesn't do that.
Hmm. And that was
Like
particularly true in Absolute Discord when the card was printed.
yeah,
It's interesting that way.
like what cards were even in Absolute Discord that could do that? Like I can only think of the Falcon. I think right. Was it Falcon? It had a
Yes.
reaction, so that's like the only card I can think of. And would they even do that on your turn? No.
Um, I mean,
Maybe it's for face-off, so like against like I don't know Premier Fluttershy. I mean, we just saw
yeah,
earlier.
I'm sure we can imagine scenarios where it might be useful, but not ones that are going to come up with any regularity.
Yeah, but it's okay. The other two effects are really good. So
Yeah, absolutely. Card draw is so rare in purple.
yeah, it's a card draw in purple, and it's a good card draw in purple. It's two cards for 218. You also get to move their thing. That card is so good. Maybe even a little underrated.
Um, maybe. I mean, I always knew it was good. Um, but yeah.
I don't know. You just never see people talk about it.
All right. Do you want to pay some amount of lip service to the top deck?
Yeah,
Uh, this is well. Actually, now that I think about it, I mean, it's been a while. I don't know if we've seen something like this in Harmony. It, but I mean, this is just it's not exactly the adventure deck because there's that one Ursa Vanquisher. Otherwise, this is just the adventure deck. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it is. No, it's totally Harmony. Did you see that one, Kusher?
Yeah,
Definitely a Harmony deck.
I didn't even take something out to put in. Just left us at 51 cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's Big Cheese also always has the stance like, yeah, one extra card is fine.
Hmm.
And I actually agree with him. I think one extra card is fine. Grunt pose my skull somewhere in the corner, but I think it's fine.
uh, for decks like this, with the amount of power that cover to cover gives you, power, small p power, uh, with the deck filtering and the AT and everything. Um,
Yeah,
Almost even makes sense to say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to reduce my consistency a little bit to make cover to cover look less good, so maybe they won't ban her. Um, Not that
is that a
anyone would.
real strategy?
Absolutely not. At least not from anyone seriously trying to win tournaments. But yeah, if you've watched any of the invitational games, you've seen this style in action.
Yeah.
And if you watched Sim's last stream, you've seen a lot of the cards in this deck get talked about in a disparaging manner, with good reason.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad to see Dr. Who's gone.
Hmm.
He was like the cornerstone of chaos
Chaos
control
control
decks.
for a long time.
Like
Yeah.
this is not a chaos control deck, so I think Chaos Control is kind of getting hit by. Like, Dr. Hooves is going not because of Chaos Control, that's what I think.
Right. But like, I think it kind of, I don't know if Fond Memories actually does this or not. It kind of opens the door to maybe doing it in a different way, right? Like I can
Yeah,
imagine Sim's hands being somewhat tied by like Hooves exists. If you give more chaos control stuff to Harmony, well, to new sets, it's just going to go crazy in Harmony. So yeah, gives them an opportunity to maybe try doing it a little bit differently in the future.
I guess. But yeah, see the infamous combo of Hithroc and Bailout, which is so brutal.
Hmm.
I'm glad that's fixed. I'm not glad that Paper Twi is gone. I will never be glad that Paper Twi is gone. But Hitwave and Bailout, that's what I'm glad
Yeah, yeah,
about.
those two cards together are a bit much.
Yeah. It's kind of always the problem of card game design where each of the cards individually might be, maybe like good or fine, but two together is pushing it.
Hmm.
And when you design cards, you kind of have to think about every single other card or combination of cards that exists out there. It's really hard. That's why even during playtesting, not everything is getting caught because it's impossible to think of every possible interaction.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that actually was pretty okay for 15 decks. Only about 90 minutes.
Yeah, we've sped our way through, right?
Yeah. As mentioned, we'll be back next week. Sorry, 2 weeks from now, talking a bit more in depth about the recent proposed changes to the ban list,
Mm-hmm.
as well as we might be able to do a little bit of summaries or something else in there as well. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, but if you absolutely need more pony cards today, well, tomorrow probably for you, Hithroc.
yeah.
Tonight we have some more invitational gameplay happening. It'll be the last semifinal. This one between Grandpaws and Bugle. And I'll say it's a good one. It's these two really tested each other. I would say it that way. So
I'm looking forward to see it.
yeah, absolutely. And we have Josh Stueck, eminently sensible, to be the commentator as well. To pass judgment on whichever player is going to meet him in the winners bracket finals. So yeah, be good. That's starting 7 p.m. Pacific time, or well, yeah, 9 p.m. for me, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we hope to be able to have you there. Otherwise, I think that's it for today. Unless you had anything else to say, Ithra.
Mm-mm.
Alrighty. Uh, okay. So until next time, I've been Cursor Chords,
They've been Hithroc.
and we will see you in a fortnight.
Bye.